Bruges on a slightly overcast and grey day. Joining us for this first streamed game of the day between CUSB from Italy and Switzerland's Crazy Dogs. I'm Benjamin Reese, I'm going to be anchoring the coverage today.
Una maglia bianca della Fotta in più? No. Quella di Nina, dai. Gasperini? Non ce l'ha, quindi? Chi è che non ce l'ha? No, troppo. Bene, giochiamo rossi, dai, non ce l'ho più. No, ma c'è la gente, la maglia bianca. C'è la maglia sopra, siamo in stringhi, le rosse. A voi! L'hai già usata. Anche per l'attacco. Nicky! Liberi! Nicky! La prossima cambia Gullo per me!
Attacco di qua!
Attacco di là!
La prossima Gullo per me!
Gasper! Attacco di qua!
Io la Capo! Bolle!
Bruno, vieni anche te!
That's where you got to go to the other team. That's right. You got to go to the team pulling that. That's the go to the other team. So you're going to stay with the. No. He always fights because you get.
Due!
Hoofdlijnen! Che freddo!
Oh, il ciappo ci sei, sto dov'è? Inside.
1 Due,
The edge of the disc just touching the floor. Dogs going to work quickly now. Makes the undercut on that far sideline. Backhand force, trying to trap them there. Let's get the down the line. Huge bid. That's great play recognition there by the defender, number 97, I think it is. It wasn't his man he was being thrown to, but he saw the receiver running free, realised that he could get in there. He gets in there nice and early, gets in front of it, and then lays out just to make sure he can knock it out the sideline. That is an excellent play from the defender. Bologna will get another crack at this here. As this will be brought in on that front far cone. There's that first layup from Crazy Dogs, almost salvaged. It's another zone look here. The blade over everyone into the stack, and a timeout called by Bologna. I think I like this decision here. You're a few points up, but 4 is almost insurmountable in these short games. It's not impossible, but it would make things very difficult. And coming out on defense, you've had a couple of turnovers already in the last few points. Why not take the time to reset yourself, get your heads in gear, draw up a play, and then try and quickly put it in. Crazy Dogs, on the other hand, perhaps time to collect themselves, steady their heads, maybe change some strategy, work out what they can do in the near future on this point on defense, whether they stick with the zone look, which Bologna have been able to generally pretty effectively work through, whether they go back to a person defense, maybe they switch the force up. It's always interesting to see how teams respond out of timeouts. If you call the timeouts at the right time, you're able to effectively boost your own confidence while taking your momentum out of your opponent. Crazy Dogs look ready to roll. Getting fired up for this defensive play now. CUSB look a bit more measured, trying to talk things through exactly what they want to draw up off this timeout. We're going to get a replay of that huge defensive bid now. The backhand goes down the line. Defender reads it nice and early. Huge bid. Getting completely horizontal there. The outstretched right palm knocking it away to the despair of the Dogs players. Wiping the disc before the defense gets set. Good effective use of the timeout this time out. It's a vertical stack look here from the Bolognans. No dump set. Not something you don't tend to see this. Most teams will have that back with the handler. They've got the front and the back isolated off the stack. Maybe they'll look to send the one at the back under and this man at the front deep. When he slips on his cut. Nice around break though to salvage the play. Not quite probably what they had in mind, but good to have the presence of mind to not force it. Looking for a big forehand. Splits the coverage. And then the lefty backhand into the end zone for the goal, and it's another break for Bologna. This game is rapidly getting out of reach for Crazy Dogs, but Bologna look amped, and with good reason as well. Nice put. There were two receivers there. Good communication to know that one of them would go for it and the other would then make the continuation cut. Both defenders come in to try and see if they can get a piece of that D. Goes up for it. Number 27 there recognises what's happened, that he's wide open and makes the continuation cut for the easy score. Again, another example of good play recognition there from the Italians. If you're Crazy Dogs at this point, it's going to be really easy to try and put too much pressure on yourself. Knowing that you need to score, often those times with too much pressure on yourself, you make easy mistakes. In this situation, it's often advantageous to take each point as it comes. Don't think about winning the game. Think about winning the whole thing point by point. We're about halfway through the time now, so they do have time to make the comeback here. The backhand ball goes up. He's going to curve towards this sideline, and it will land out of bounds. Crazy Dogs will bring it in at the brick mark, coming out of a side stack here on this near sideline. 2 handlers back, 5 men downfield in the stack, trying to isolate someone in space. They do get him open, and he goes deep. Someone covering. And for that around break the whole time, and they are able to get it effectively there. Isolates his reset, finds him effectively. Nice little handle movement there. Thinks about that leading backhand into space. Nice little quick pivot there. Putting out to touch. Oh, huge bid from the Italians, but it's not quite enough. Good catch under pressure there. So often those big bids do just enough, even if you don't get it, to put the pressure on. But good focus, good concentration. Go at it with both hands. Make sure of it. Despite the pressure, not altogether uncomfortable for the Swiss there. Very effectively done. Score's now 7-4. Going to get a replay of that now. Here's that quick no pivot backhand, not fully setting himself, but putting a lot of spin on it. Seeing the cut down the line, gets behind the defender. You see the receiver make a slight adjustment to begin to come back towards the disc, and that's probably what gets in the disc there. Handler sees it go. See him just chop his feet and begin to come slightly back towards it, really attack the disc. Not give the defender a chance to get it there, even though he did come very, very close. That's a good play all round. Nice bid from the defender. Good adjustment from the receiver as well to come and get that disc. Big roll curving backhand, arcing its way towards that back corner of the end zone. It's a good pull. Crazy Dogs chase it down quite effectively. CUSB also choosing to use a side stack here. Good pressure on the defence, but grabbed one-handed by number 35, and he's going to swing the disc towards the sideline. Nice continuation there from the Italians. Got a man in space. Shooting the IO forehand deep. Double coverage, and there's a big bid. It's going to fall short. I think perhaps the thrower forced that a bit. Saw what he wanted, maybe had it in mind and didn't have to look up to see if it was quite there. Difficult, not a high margin for error there. Nice little inside-out flick, up line to the handler. Both handlers clear through, and he's left with no dump here. He's able to get that inside shot. This continuation. Crazy Dogs offense stagnates a bit, but a nice, effective under. The receiver and the thrower not on the same page. The receiver backing out of the cut, and CUSB cleaned that up very effectively, catching it so they can move quickly here. Blading forehand around. And another one, he's going to toe that in on the sideline. Nice little scuba, cheeky throw to the receiver in space. Thinks about that no pivot IO. In the end, just resets it. And Fotta looked very calm and collected at the back. Finally getting that underpass for yards. And a lovely little backhand slips through, but it's just too far. Nice creative decision. The window was definitely there, but he couldn't quite execute it. Dogs moving effectively with the up line. 49 now with the disc on this near sideline. Flick mark trying to trap him there. Stall count rising. Has to go with the blade into the end zone. Coverage is good, and the receiver does get a hand to it, but just can't quite bring it in. High stall throw. Good defence there, though, however, from CUSB. Trapping him on the sideline, not giving the open pass, and was cluttered downfield as well, so we had to send that blade over the top. Not the throw he wanted, but better to give your receiver a chance and take the stall out, and he very nearly did come down with it as well. Here's that CUSB turnover, that little IO backhand into space, just too far for the handler running through to make the play for. Just coming in on the front of the end zone. Nice IO break. Forehand, receiver leaps to make the grab. And this doesn't look good. Defender on the ground clutching his knee. He does not look in a good way. He's not happy. We've had a few people slipping on the grass today. I didn't quite see what happened there. Maybe he did the same, but he is not looking in a good way. Let's all hope he's okay here. A couple of players gather round. Goes down clutching his right knee. He's helped off the field. Looks like he's able to put some weight on it, which is a good sign. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Did not affect the play though. That continuation throw towards that far sideline will stand. Crazy Dogs have substituted a defender in. I don't think CUSB and Fotta have made any changes here. Ooh, looks like he got a piece of that throw down the sideline, but it's not quite enough, and it will still reach the intended target. Nice little dump, and swung across right into the middle of the pitch here. This is a dangerous position if you're Dogs. Nice IO backhand to a receiver who is uncovered. That time that little backhand running through to the handle is effective, and there's a bust in coverage. Cutter left wide open, and IO backhand into space for the goal. 8-4 now to Fotta. What's been so effective for the Italian team is getting nice continuation, but when it's not there, having the presence of mind, the forethought to think, actually, if we can just reset it, play it around between the handlers a bit, we'll open ourselves much more opportunity to gain yards on undercuts, tire out the defenders. Getting a replay of that throw here. Having the advantage of having that throw to the handler running through is that you can get the defender on their back, behind their back rather, have a chance to get a throw off without any mark, and that's why he was able to get that IO backhand into space. Slightly blading, but the direct trajectory was perfect to find the receiver. No problems catching that one at all. Crazy Dogs ready to receive the ball here. Number 97 that we had, saw had that excellent layout earlier. Step up for the pull. It's a nice ball. It's going to go towards the centre of the end zone. Trying to gain yards through the handlers, because able to set effectively. Allowing that free dump, knowing that it's not perhaps an incredibly dangerous throw. Did have the receiver, but a good adjustment by the force to come round and take it away. And trying again that cut with the handler running through. This time with a lefty backhand, but it's too far and the receiver can't get it on this far sideline here. Number 13 is going to bring the disc in for the team in red. Gets the IO break to space. That throw's going to sit. There's a couple of people there. Number 33 does an excellent job of boxing out the CUSB cutters, getting up and not giving him a chance to make the play. Possibly two people open at various points in there. Oh, huge hand block. But the disc just hips up and is able to be caught by the receiver. I don't think that was the intended target. I think he was looking for the man streaking deep. But good adjustment and good awareness by the cutter to make the recovery throw. But the continuation isn't there. Another big catch under pressure here. Window's really, really closing. And that arcing flick into space is going to be caught by the receiver. Another break for Bologna. 9-4 now to the Italians. They're beginning to run away with this here. That was an exhilarating point. A couple of tips, some huge blocks. And in the end it was the Italians who are able to most effectively keep their heads. Looks like we've perhaps got a timeout call here. We saw Bologna call theirs earlier, so this will be from the Swiss team, Crazy Dogs. Have a little talk about how they can reset with time beginning to run out. We're about 35 minutes of the way through the game here. So 15 minutes, if they want to mount a comeback, it's got to be quick. You can see there that hand block, but good presence of mind from that cutter, who might not have been the intended target, but saw what was going on, went and caught it comfortably, and here's the throw for the goal. Putting that slightly arcing backhand, forehand even, into space. The receiver going up and catching it one-handed just before the defender has a chance to make a bid. You feel the Dogs' hold is paramount here. If Bologna are able to break again, that could effectively be the end of the game, with time running out and a 6-point lead. The Dogs know they have to score, and score relatively quickly as well, but that doesn't mean you can rush throws. Take the bigs if they're there, keep looking for them, but don't force them unless you really, really have to, which at this stage they do not. Bit of a breeze beginning to roll across the field here. The fantastic complex here in Bruges in Belgium. Crazy Dogs ready to receive the pull. Just going up. It's going to go towards that far sideline. It's going to curve and arc out of bounds. Not quite what they wanted off the pull here. It appears the Swiss team are going for a split stack look here. 3 players on this near sideline, 2 on the far sideline. 2 players back in the handler set. Everyone clears out from this near sideline to allow number 33 to get the undercut. Recycles, and again, it's free. And they're taking the quick passes, not for many yards, but seeing the receivers are free and just using them. Playing a bit of small ball between the handlers. That's a nice throw. Nice little feathery flick into space. Sitting for the receiver to jump up and catch it. Nice reset there. And swing it effectively towards that backhand sideline. Looks off the handler cut, finds the under. Nice transition into a vertical stack here now. And the Waces, the handler and his dumper, not quite on the same page. But only look for the quick strike. Don't quite have it. Handler goes through to pick up. Just a flick out, clap caught comfortably. Bit cluttered in that handler set. They get the disc upfield well. Looks for the IO. The defender is all over that, but it looks like there's been a call. Can't see what's going on. They're looking for some hand signals. Turnover stands. I think perhaps there was a call in the stack, but the players decided that it doesn't affect the play. That backhand is overthrown. It's goes behind the receiver. Cutter tries to make a play to recover it, but can't do it. Into fast break. That's a huge hammer. Iron arcing even. Comes down almost with some snow on it there. Well covered though. A couple of Crazy Dogs defenders there. Read the play effectively. Able to get enough of a hand on it to knock it down to the ground. Not allow the receiver to make the catch. 90 makes the undercut, but it's looked off. Little strike cut up line. Number 8 thinks about the big, but decides against it. Again, seems like they're looking for big. Nice lead pass into space. Crazy Dogs working it down this near far sideline. Huge hammer to the break side. Just on the doorstep there. Little quick pivot around backhand for the goal. Often, ultimately, you get a case of monkey see, monkey do. Maybe thinking that, oh, CUSB had a decent idea with the hammer. Let's try one of our own. Huge steepling throw. I like the decision by the receiver to focus on making sure he caught it comfortably rather than towing it into the end zone. And then taking the scoring pass rather than trying to tow it in bounds where perhaps it would have been would have made the catch more difficult himself. Nice one-handed grab with the lead pass into space there. Bit of a daring throw there, but it's nice to see teams try something a bit different. A lot of times, especially when you're a few points down, it can be difficult to get the energy up. but a hammer is always a good idea, as we see a replay of it there. Thrown comfortably to space. Possibly could have towed that in, but chooses to instead make the easy catch and then throw the assist instead, which is probably a good decision. When you're a few points down, possession is tantamount to a win. You've got to make sure you catch it. Nice low release backhand break onto this, with that inside out. Fakes upfield. Just teases the idea of a hammer. Nice little reset pass to that floaty backhand into space. Gives her that blading forehand towards the break side. Seen CUSB use that throw quite effectively today. Oh, and he just turfs that throw, does number 9. He had the receiver there, but it just looked like it came out of his hand slightly weird. Just drops to the floor harmlessly. Bit of a gift there for Crazy Dogs. Pivots out for that backhand. Well covered, he's going to go deep. This is in double coverage, bit of a hospital ball. Huge grab by number 28. Wants the instant deep. Wisely looks it off for number 70 instead. Oh, and the throw blades just short of the receiver. It's a shame. Nice look there, but just died just before he could get there. Because moving just quickly down the field now. Just past the brick mark on this near sideline. Swing it back into the middle. Not afraid to lose yards in order to keep the play moving, which is generally a good strategy. Especially on a calm day like this where yards aren't quite so important. Nice IO forehand into space. Going with a huge blade over the top. Bid from the receiver is ambitious. It doesn't quite get there. Because make their way into double figures. They've got a 10-5 lead now on Crazy Dogs. See it again, that roll curve flick. Big bid. You love the ambition and the desire there. Doing everything he can to try and get the disc back for his team, but isn't quite able to make it. And again, we talked about before how sometimes just the fact that the defender is there and making that sort of play can be enough to cause you to drop it, but good focus by the receiver. Did not lose concentration and to make the catch to score. Nice little group of spectators gathering in the benches on the far side of the field. Cuz ready to pull. It's the outside in backhand. Well stopped and moved quickly. 73 now with the disc for Crazy Dogs. Trying that lefty backhand, that's a nice throw to space. It's going to boost that backhand deep, forehand deep even. Caught comfortably. The defender did not have a chance. That is a lovely throw. Just pinpoint accuracy there. Saw what he wanted. Was able to set his feet and then before he threw for the score. Often when you see these windows, it's really easy to rush, lose your form, lose your shape. And we've seen that a couple of times with windows which perhaps were closing quickly. And rush throws lead to turnovers. But that time was a good decision, well executed. Just lovely ultimate there from Crazy Dogs. Sets his feet. You can see the rotation on that forehand as it comes out of his hand. The defender trailing knows that he does not have a shot at it. Number 90 goes up and makes the catch with two hands. 10-6 now to CUSB, but with 5 minutes left, could this be a case of too little too late for Crazy Dogs? We can see what their strategy is on this defensive point. Huge skyward soaring backhand pull, but too much height and not quite enough weight on it. Just goes to the sky and doesn't even reach the brick mark in the end. Again, looking for that roll curved forehand into space. Going with a backhand pull, maybe a forced middle there. Whatever it was, did not prove effective. just some sort of breakdown in defence, and that's probably the easiest score we've seen so far. Maybe even only 3 or 4 throws. No trouble for the Italians. They take 11-6 scoreline now. See him again pivot out. Getting the slight outside in on the throw, which is not necessarily that usual when you're throwing towards the inside-outside line, but it's been very effective for CUSB today, especially in these still conditions where there's perhaps not so much of a risk when you throw that. Both teams ready. Ball goes up to Crazy Dogs here. This is a nice pull as well. It's going to pin them in the back of the end zone if it can stay in bounds. And it does drop in bounds and stay in bounds. That is a fantastic pull. Easily the best we've seen all game. Crazy Dogs working effectively, though, to try and move the disc upfield. Not give CUSB a chance to get set. Oh, nice play. 97 with another big defensive play. Getting a little piece of that. You don't see that many foot blocks in the game. It's always exciting when you do. I love a good foot block. Didn't completely crush that, but got enough of it to tip it, change the rotation, the angle on it. Nice inside-out forehand to the space. Good coverage, but able to squeeze that throw in there. Foul called. A lot of physical defense. Looks like a big bump of heads there. I hope these guys are okay. Gonna have another look at it here. There we are, getting enough of that football. The throw was blading anyway, but just seems like it catches the edge of it, tips it, takes all the rotation and all the spin out of it, and it dives harmlessly into the grass. That's a wonderful play. So often forces are broken and they're not effective when when defenders are too static on the mark and not able to recover ground. But you see that one of the advantages of being on the balls of your feet as well, and be able to recover ground quickly. It means you can shift weight onto one foot and lean out with the other to get the flip block as he did there. And that's a lovely throw for the goal. Quick around backhand. Defence not even sure what hit them there. Very effective for CUSB. A 12-6 lead now. And this is all but game over almost. With only a couple of minutes left, it seems highly unlikely that Crazy Dogs will have the time to come back here. CUSB get their 7 on the line. Crazy Dogs have their 7 ready. The sun beginning to start to peek through the clouds here and get warmer. Hopefully this bodes well for the weather for the rest of the day. The forecast is for sun and warmer temperatures. So we've seen a couple of receivers slip on the ground today. Hopefully as the weather clears up, that'll become less of a problem. Davide with the spin and before the pull. Fielded well by the Swiss team, Crazy Dogs. Just beyond their own brick mark. Ooh. The backhand to space. Perhaps not quite as far out in front of the cutter as he wanted. And in the end it just goes harmlessly to the ground with no one near it. There's a discussion here. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I haven't seen any hand signals to indicate what's happening. The turnover is going to stand here. Yeah. As this will be the last point. With this lead, even if Crazy Dogs score it, it won't matter. It's number 12, Davide Mori, to pick up the disc. He's going to shoot deep. He wants to end this in style. Defender in coverage. That's a huge grab. That is monstrous. Absolutely owning the skies. Great pressure from the defender, but it's not quite enough. 27 gets airborne. Numi need a pilot's license to get that sort of over the defender, posterising him almost. And that's going to end the game here as both teams shake hand. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Benjamin Rees, watching Tom's coverage of Tom's Tourny 2017 as we get to the replay of that final throw. We'll be back very soon. Don't go anywhere.